What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Bitcoin and cryptocurrency update video. Today, we're here to talk about why Bitcoin is trading over $60,000 again and how we got to this point in the first place. If you guys remember just from the last video, we talked about right here actually when Bitcoin had broken out of this falling wedge. We were on this candle right here. Um, yeah, up until this point, Bitcoin had a bottom recently in place about 30,000, and the repairs on the way up that we called out here for you guys were initially we had this falling wedge down here and we had a breakout at 32,000, so this was a nice little entry. The next entry you could have taken was 60,000, the high here, and this high. This is like the more conservative route, if you will, where we had two initial rejections from these highs. This was that third one, so the break from this one was the second confirmation that trend was gonna flip in reverse from here, and in which case that entry would have been around like 41,000. And then the third one we gave out on this channel here was now that we had called out this one and this one. The next one here was in this pattern right here where we had a nice little falling wedge again, just like down here, where you could have taken, let's clear that up for you guys, you could have taken this entry right here then about like 43,000. So if you're not in a position, or I guess technically, we talked about the break right here, right? So, the high in place here, the high in place here. This would have been the more most conservative entry, if you will, about $50,000 or so. So cool. If you take all these trades, now you're hanging on to your position. And if you don't have any right now, we'll talk about what you can do. But you're hanging on to your position because we have recently just cleared resistance at 58K. We've been talking about this for a very long time, ever since, honestly, back in these days here with resistance. We've had it for a long time now. It looks a lot cleaner on the weekly because it's all of the weekly closes, let alone the month, right? Let's go to the monthly candles. It's all the monthly closes right here. So, but go back to the daily for some more in-depth look right now. Here, let me get back to that. Cool. So now that we have breaking out of here, what are we going to do now? Well, so Bitcoin right now above 58,000, it's super bullish. So the way I see it right now is we have a couple options. So either we remain above 58K, which I'm going to go with my most primary choice being the first option here, right? The primary option that I believe is, since we're above 58,000, we really have just thin air. We just have the recent high in place of 65,000, which today could be broken. Maybe we tap it today, maybe not. Maybe we just stay where we're at. The high in place right now, it's already been as high as 62.94, and the price is going to be different by the time I upload this video because it's a pretty volatile day. It's already up 10%. So what could happen from here is maybe we just meet the target that we talked about in the last video. What target are we talking about, right? So the bottom of the move from here, if we go to the top to here, bottom to top, and we count this as a bull flag or falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, the breakout had happened right here. So we'll take our measured move, and it's about 67,000 or so, 66,000. So I'll remove that. So that's the technical target from this move. However, like we said, it's pretty thin air up here. Bitcoin and price discovery could go crazy pretty quick. I believe the next battle, honestly, is at least 80 to, we'll call it 120,000, which I know sounds very broad, but why I'm giving that price range is essentially I think the next battle is really just the six figures target for Bitcoin, whether people front run that and start to sell early of that, or it gets a little too ahead of them and they start to sell after that. It's not going to be 100,000 on the dot. Maybe it is, but that psychological level is very, very important for Bitcoin. A break above 100K, we'll get ahead of ourselves there, but a break above 100K would be even more nuts. But that's the move we're looking at from this point on, and how it gets there is either it's just going to be quite a straight shot up from here, or if we do face resistance at this high, somewhere up there, right, then we could just consolidate out and flag out like this, right? Price can just relax a little bit over here before then going higher. But I feel like that's kind of asking a lot, especially since Bitcoin has been really consolidating this whole time here. So it is a big range, but that's normal for Bitcoin, a 50% range. We're either going to leave this range significantly more to the downside by the end of the year, or it looks like obviously here to the upside, since we have, definitively put in a nice uptrend here. And how do we know that? Well, because we have, structurally higher highs and higher lows in place right now. We have a low in place here, we have a higher low, and we have a high here, and we're making a higher high at the moment, which, sure, yeah, we haven't super technically taken out that high yet, but since this point, we've been trending upwards, so we're doing really, really good. And, if we couple that with the RSI, it's also looking really good down here. If you guys remember before, we already talked about comparing moves pound for pound with RSI, this section and this section, but let's just revisit it real quick. And the way I want you to follow this with me is follow my mouse down here where the RSI is, but then look on the y-axis and see where price is doing, right? So price made a high here, 41,000, and RSI made a high here. But like I said, follow what we said. You'll see that the RSI was trending downward while price was going higher. But once RSI lost this 57 here and got rejected by 57, that's when price made a lower high here and then started, boom, trending downward. Now, from this point on, this is when we're bearish because RSI below 57, price is pretty weak, right? And then also notice price was consolidating while we were below 57, right? Consolidating in this little falling wedge. So it was going to lead to an inevitable breakout. We would have either lost 30,000 or, you know, we ended up breaking to the upside. So boom, here you see what happened from there. But what happened then was RSI finally broke the downtrend right here. And that's when price is king, right? If price makes the move first, then the indicators go after. So price broke out of the falling wedge, and then RSI broke the downtrend, very healthy. And then once RSI got above 57 again, that's when it's really started to take off, right? Once it got above 57, you see that? Boom, price took off then. And then same thing happened. Price made higher highs, but this indicator started making all these lower highs again. So that was bearish divergence. You don't really want to see that when price is trending upwards. You want to see this trend up with the price. So meaning price makes a high and a higher high, like here to here. This was a high. You wanted to see RSI be above that high, but it was not. So same thing happened over here. Price trending downward, downward, downward. Sorry. Price trending upward, RSI trending downward. And it wasn't until price consolidated like this, right? Consolidated. We were below 57 when it was consolidating. It was below 57. Cool. And once we got back above 57, or more importantly, once price broke out of the falling wedge, again, price got out of this, or RSI got out of the downtrend here. And here we back are into the strengthy territories. And here we are back again with price, right? So yeah, it followed very, very well. I also noted that, you know, all these downtrends ended up flipping into support down here. So if you were really watching that earlier, this would have been a very powerful buy for a lot of reasons. It was the bottom of the wedge channel here. It was really oversold on the RSI, blah, 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 right? But yeah, here we are back into super strengthy conditions again. And if we even look at the weekly, in which case these lines don't matter anymore, I'll take them away for now. The weekly is very important. We're actually up at 67 right now. And why is that important? Well, let's look at the RSI. Above 57 on the RSI is very bullish for Bitcoin. You can see that once we got above 57 over here, right, this was a nice little bullish move back in the day. This was actually the move that took us out of the bear market. Very small, but very powerful. And then once we stayed above 57, price really rallied, right? And then it wasn't until over here when we lost 57 again, boom, we rolled over. This was this whole move here being down. And that wasn't until we got back above 57 that we left up to the higher side. We had a little fake out again, peaking it below with this little candle down here. And now, boom, we're back above in some clear water again. So we also have a very healthy uptrend in place with this RSI right now, connecting the lows here. Boom. 1, 2, 3, and then the highs too. We have high and higher highs. So we have a very healthy uptrend in the RSI over a very long period of time. This is 3 years, guys. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 years. So that's very powerful information right there. What do we want to get at here now? Let's go back to the daily. Oh, yeah. So you can see that we talked about it might not retest, right? So price broke out here. I mean, I guess you can call it a retest. I know this didn't happen on every exchange, but this candle here showed a lot of buy pressure and support. And yeah, this is that resumption off pretty much. So yeah, I mean, this could be really excited to see what happens from here. The worst case scenario for Bitcoin right now, since we talked about scenario number 1 of just kind of thin air, headed to 80 to 120K or so, or at least that even just this little target of 67,000 before we face some sort of resistance, if you will. The worst case scenario, highs in place, right? Let's just pretend that was the top. If that was the top, we talked about it flagging out. Maybe we just consolidate like that. That's totally possible. It's also possible that we just get rejected pretty hard. Unlikely, but get rejected pretty hard. And then this is our support down here, right? Where we have previous resistance and resistance. This could act as support now as the new floor. And then also just this channel right here, this trend from the touch points from here and here, could act as support then, you know, future down here. So, which would also coincide with the uptrend right here, right? So we have some support coming up, and we have the downward trending support. So there's a whole lot going on here for confluence. But it might be just like what happened over here, right, when price made the lower highs right here. Even though we broke out over here, we never fully like retested. We might not get that retest, you know. There might be some space below the retest. Like this might never get filled. We might only be here before higher. You know what I'm saying? Or like I said in the initial scenario, we don't even have to do that. We could just go straight up from here. So if you have 0 Bitcoin, anytime someone has 0 Bitcoin, super technically, is always a decent time to get in, right? I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me for financial advice. But if you have 0 of something that you're interested in, then for you it's a good deal. You don't have it. But if you do have some, then sure, you maybe want to wait for those little pullbacks, but the risk is certainly to the upside right now. And what do I mean by that? Well, the risk to the upside meaning a break above 65,000 in theory could go much higher infinitely as far as I'm concerned. Like you can go up tens of thousands of percents, right? But on the downside, you can never go down more than 100%. So, and even if it did go down, we're not talking about 100% drops. Like if it went down to those targets, what are we talking about, right? From here to the bottom, we're just talking about another 20%, which in Bitcoin world is pretty much nothing. I mean, even this drop was just at 23%, right? So we've already seen these before. Nothing new. This one was actually 50%, the big one in our mid-cycle shakeout. But yeah, I mean, I think that's some good Bitcoin talk for you, but I really wanted to follow this up with some more macro for you because that's all that really matters here. We're going to go to the BLX. I've changed this chart around for you guys. We're going to go to the weekly, and I'm going to go log. All right. Now hear me out. We're going to break this down. It might look like a lot, but it's really not. We actually have all the market cycles laid out for you here. And a market cycle, if you don't remember, it's basically from when a market is either expanding or contracting. Right now we're going through an expansion period with Bitcoin. So when we're expanding, the market's in a bull market. When the market's contracting, we're in a bear market. And right now, when Bitcoin is in a bull market, you can see like here, the first bull markets it's ever had, right? From $0 or inception to wherever it topped out at it, which is actually right here, about 30 bucks, $32. So when Bitcoin made a high at $32 and bottomed out over here at $2, this was a whole market cycle pop, right? We had a big uptrend followed by a correction, and then we started expanding again onto the next one. But the rules for this are quite simple. We're going to take it off auto. So price makes a high, it makes the bottom, and then once price eventually takes out an all-time high like this, I have one extension up here for you. It's the 1.618, basically the golden ratio, but the extended version of that. And the golden ratio loves to hold with Bitcoin because you can see once Bitcoin makes new highs after a previous all-time high is made, it makes a new high. It likes to backtest this 61.8 as critical support, right? So you can see the first time it ever did that, price rallied. It made a new all-time high from $32. It ran all the way up to $270. The weekly candles ended up closing here at around 160. But the bottom was $54. And that's very important because this bottom then took us to our next top, which was the real top, all the way up here at $1,200, right? The bottom, if you want to count it at $50, maybe you got it in over here at $60. This is the top here at $1,200. So what's really important about this is the two pieces of information, right? So we have the 61.8, very key support, and then the top here is a very telltale sign of the future potential bottom of the next bear market, because you can see here the weekly closes acted as the bear market floor over here, which helps a ton. And also, by the way, from this bottom in July, it rallied up about 1,800, or well, right here, 1,700% from top to bottom, and it took about, the days aren't on there. I don't know why it's glitching. I'll put it back. About 147 days. So then we had that's our top. That's one cycle for you over here. This is our second one. And by the way, the blue lines, I forgot to mention that. The blue lines is at the halving, which these are pretty close to accurate. I'm pretty sure I got them down to the day for you. If not, don't hate me, but it's pretty close. So notice how also the price is, retraced about halfway once we hit the halving, so that's pretty cool too. But for this scenario, we're just talking about the golden ratio holding, and we're talking about the top here, right? So price makes a new high then, blah, blah, blah. We have a bear market, which, by the way, bear market from top to bottom takes about a year and a week, and then it's about 85% down. I got to put the thing back on. There you go. I don't know why they glitching out on video. So just over a year, right? And then, same thing, price had an all-time high in place, and it wasn't until the next halving, which had also retraced about half of this move, right? After the all-time high was taken out again, about $1,200, you can see price rallied through $1,200. It went past this golden ratio, but then it backtests the golden ratio, and that's very important support, right? Just like over here, it's very important support. It's very important support right here. Price never went below that again. Price never went below this again. So over here, very important support. And you can see again from bottom, which happened in July, just like over here in July. From July to the top, about another 150 days, just like over here, roughly. It rallied about another 980%. That's massive, right? So after this 980% then, and well, before I get ahead of myself there, sorry, we also talked about the initial high blowing through the all-time high. The initial high blowing through the all-time high, that ends up becoming the floor of the next bear market, right? We can see it ended up over here. COVID almost got to it, but yeah, we had the floor right here. And the confirmation of that helps a ton too once we broke through that, and you can see the confirmation of the support. Nice support, sorry, resistance and support flip. That was helping us confirm that over there. Over here, you can't really see it, the weekly candle close there, but on the daily time frame, this was a open and close on there. It was nice support, so cool. And then yeah, 150 days till the top, a nice rally. And then, by the way, followed by another bear market, which happened to be another 85% drawdown or so, and happened to be about another year from top to bottom. So cool. Two data points that suggest something pretty similar, this one and this one. And then let's go to our third one. We're going to go over here today. So same rules apply. We have an all-time high in place. Price makes a new all-time high, 20,000. Everyone remembers 20,000. Price rallies through 20,000 all the way up to 65,000, right? And then you can see our critical support. We back tested the golden ratio perfectly twice on this one, actually. Look at the respect, right? All these closes. Nothing closed below this at all. So it's reasonable to assume if we continue this kind of trend, which, by the way, let's see where we bottom out here. Look at that. Look at that down there. This is July, right? So pretty interesting. Bottomed out in July again. Let's suppose another 150 days or so that we rally. And let's suppose it's an average of this one. Let's suppose it's an average of this one. And why is it fair to suppose that? Well, honestly, because from this halving point all the way up, and from this halving point all the way up, if we look at this one, from here all the way up, price has been averaging performance and volatility to the upside. It's an average of performance and volatility to the downside. And it's an average in, consolidation period, meaning how long it's going sideways. How long is this going sideways? And same with this one, right? So it's reasonable to assume that we continue this average here. And it's reasonable also too because, Bitcoin is just coded monetary policy. So you throw in this human psychology, right? And you get these nice little halvings like the block rewards right here every, relatively 4 years because it's based on blocks, not necessarily time. That's why they're slightly different days. Nonetheless, it's reasonable to assume that can continue. And so the base case here is maybe it is an average of the pumps here, right? Which would mean 1400-ish% or so, which I got that calculation a couple ways. One, by kind of averaging them out. But two, then, let's just assume this high, just like the other times, once we broke through that all-time high. Let's assume that it is the floor of the next bear market because that's pretty fair. Look at all these weekly closes right here, the respect, right? Look at all those week close, weekly support, and then the weekly closes over here. So if this is the floor of the next bear market, and we have another 85% or so drawdown, right? That puts us around $425,000 per Bitcoin, and that's looking at a time frame around December 20th. Now, am I saying that we top out in December 20th, and am I saying we have to get to $400,000 by that period of time? Absolutely not. That is the base case, though, and at the end of the day, price is king. We're going to follow price and price alone. I have a couple other ways that we can help us watch on the way up from there, which you guys do remember these. Let me get rid of all this stuff now to clean that up. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I have the yellow ones in for just simple other psychological numbers. I don't even have 100K in because I feel like that's just too easy to achieve, but like 250,000 to 500,000, just some simple price targets. Yeah, nonetheless, I was going to say, yeah, right, we connected basically the highs here. I connected the all-time high in 2013, and I connected the all-time high of 2017, and just extrapolated it all the way out to here, which gives us this moving target. Whenever we hit it, maybe we peak in December, maybe it's earlier, maybe it's November, right? Or maybe it is a little bit later, like Q1 next year or so, January, February, as far as even March, just as long as it's Q1. I say that because these halving dates slightly change. It might be what causes the potential shifts in when the cycles peak. It looks like they like to peak, November, December timeframe. That's what it's been so far. That doesn't have to happen, but it certainly could happen, and it's definitely on the radar. But at the end of the day, if price isn't going straight up like this, then I don't really have a reason to assume that we're nearing a top, because even over here, I didn't think it was a top, and for a good reason. And maybe you guys did, get scared up here, because maybe you guys were new and bought up here, and you were getting really scared down here, and maybe you didn't even participate or add to your position, or maybe you sold, But, psychologically, and if you look at Wall Street cheat sheet psychology of market cycle, you'll come to the same realization that typically market cycles peak with a euphoric blow off top like such, and we just haven't had that in Bitcoin right now. And I believe we're getting there, and I believe we're getting pretty close. I think we've been tracking it here really well in real time for you guys. And more importantly, I think it's cool to just jump into Bitcoin dominance now. I think we talked about this extensively now, and I think you guys get the point. We're going to follow this the whole way up and the whole way down. So you guys can watch it with me and learn with me. It's definitely a fun journey. I'm glad you guys take the time out of your day to watch these videos. It looks like I'm 20 minutes in already, and I'm really liking this one so far. So we're going to go through these altcoins, but first, before we do so, we're going to go into Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is showing some strength right now, right? And how do we know that? Let's get off log. There we go. How do we know that? Well, we talked about this downtrend. I'm not sure actually if I had that in play on the last video, but I did have this one, right? So we have support, 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 and it acted as resistance here. We're coming in for a second test of that resistance, just like we talked about. I actually took away, I had one more line somewhere like right here. If you carry it over, I had it like over here. I took it out because it was kind of not respecting it as much as I wanted. The major respect, obviously 39, you can see double the bottom. And then this line acted as support, resistance, support, support, close to that resistance. It's not perfect, you know, it's around that area. But nonetheless, we're coming in for the retest of this line here. And that's why it's critical, because if Bitcoin dominance can tackle above this line, then we're going to continue higher. We're going to push upwards of like 56%. Well, because that was previous support, all this resistance, and blah blah blah. Support resistance flips over there, so that would be really good for Bitcoin. It would appreciate pretty hard against the altcoins for the time being. I don't believe that momentum maintains, because you guys know I'm a big altcoin fan. Like, I love my XRP, I love my Ethereum, right? But in the short term, this is good for the space as a whole. We want Bitcoin to rally right now and show some strength. It's not a big deal if it doesn't. Even if we do get hit from here, then the altcoins will just start to, you know, like we have to get rejected by that, I mean, and roll over. Then altcoins would start to go crazy if this is trending downward. But right now we're showing some strength. We have like a potential double bottom in place here. And yeah, basically that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. We have in between support and resistance at the moment. So the real move is going to be coming soon. But basically a break above 47 on a weekly close, above 47 would be pretty strong. And a weekly close below 40 is going to show some weakness for sure. So in between here, kind of just some play, right? But now we can hop into Ethereum, which I gotta go to a daily. There we go. Ethereum, the biggest bull flag ever that we talked about. That's a lie. I think that was Holochain that we called it the biggest bull flag ever. But yeah, Ethereum is active very, very strong right now. You can see that we bottomed out all the way back over here in July, which is funny. That's where Bitcoin bottomed out. And then we had basically almost come up for that double top. We'll call it close enough to a double top. And you can see that now, actually since we had that recent high, since we had this recent high up here, we had a big bull flag here, and then we broke out of the bull flag here. So cool if you took the entry at 3,000. Congrats. And now you got this nice uptrend in play where you got some support, and we're headed into the resistance again right up here at 4,000, which is fine. If we hold this trend line as support, we're going to rally and break through it and go much higher. Like, honestly, I think we already talked about the target of this bull flag. I think it was like 5,500. However, if we lose this trend line, then we'll come back in for a retest at least 3,300, potentially as low as 3,000. We'll get ahead of ourselves if we started talking about lower levels than that, but that's how I see it at the moment. Ethereum trends very hard though, so yeah, just basically keep an eye on this nice trend line. As long as the daily candles keep closing above it, we're looking good. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, the more important chart really. This one is on critical support right now. Let's go to the weekly, and I'm on log. Critical support, right? Support, resistance, 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 resistance. All the support right here. And now present day acting right now as support. It's close. I mean, you can move it however you need to make it work, which you're not supposed to make it work for you, but you know what I mean. It's these are relatively subjective lines. You could draw them as you wish. Find what works for you. But what works for me is right now is what I see here, where, you know, initially we had one resistance line taken out already. Once we eclipsed this, we had a nice move. We back tested it as support, and then once we broke the resistance here, we had a nice move to the upside again. We didn't quite get as high as that high there. It was another lower high, not a big deal, but here we have a nice little downtrend in play again. So in the coming days, weeks here, we're gonna get a break. We're either gonna lose this trend line and roll over to at least here, otherwise we have some support, you know, quite a ways down here. But again, very soon from here, we're either gonna hold this and break this trend line, in which case we will come retest this. Ethereum will be doing very juicy there. But if we break this, we've already said it many times again, just like Bitcoin, breaking important resistance areas. Yeah, if it breaks above this, it's pretty thin air. I mean, Ethereum barely spends time above this much market dominance. So it would appreciate very hard against Bitcoin pretty fast. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at these altcoins now. It's been a little while since I looked at these guys. Damn, what did I do over here? I did some good stuff. Okay, I see what I did. I put the trend channels in here. Let's clean it up for you guys. Okay, so taking a look at XRP, you could see that ever since we had broken out of this major downtrend that we talked about extensively on this channel, very long time now, that we broke out of this downtrend with the high and all these lower high rejections, right? We found support right here. And now that we did find support here, this is the nice powerful resumption move off. And you can see that we have a low in place and another higher low in place here with following up basically then this nice trend line. So we do have a nice upward trending support here. I got to make that a little brighter for you guys to see. So we have a nice uptrend of support, and we're running into the resistance again at $1.30, but it's looking like that would want to break because XRP moves fast, right? So support, this is the resumption move here. If we can break above $1.30, the next real resistance is $2, and then after $2 I have it up there, but realistically we all know it's probably not going to act that strong. Technically it'd probably act a little stronger here by the $2.70 because those were the weekly closes, but nonetheless the week wicked all the way up on this exchange at least to 336, so that's the light resistance up there. But I mean, XRP is the only one not in price discovery mode, or at least not in new all-time high territory like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So this one's got a lot of catching up to do, but that's not a bad thing either because we're talking about a lot more potential, right, for return on investment. Yeah, I mean, $1, you've already had $3, right? So after that, though, I mean, it's going to move. And how do we know that? I mean, look what it's done in the past. Nonetheless, though, the longer the base, the higher the space, right? So this is a long consolidating base. A lot of investors buying in here. So therefore, when we take out these high, the space above us should be quite exciting and pretty extravagant, if you ask me. I don't have price projections for XRP. I'm a utility guy on this one. I'm long on the fact that Ripple's changing the world, moving money around the world. So this one I don't have an exit strategy for. This is like kind of the creme de la creme, hang on to forever kind of thing. And just see what Ripple does, honestly, because if it's going to be the new standard for payments, we don't want to get rid of it. We want to hang on to it. So, nonetheless, on to the next altcoins. Nope. We got, what is this? XRP, Bitcoin dominance? All right, let's go to this guy. Oh no, is that a technical breakdown? Maybe. Could be not the end of the world, but whatever. I'm going to get rid of that because not that important, because I just wanted to see if we can have fun with it. Taking a look at XRP dominance, you can see that it's kind of weakening again, actually, which is no surprise. We saw Bitcoin dominance was appreciating. So when it's safe to get back in the water, probably a break above this. Or I don't even need to connect those. Let's just worry about those. Do the candles like that. All the bodies. I like that. So a break above this. And XRP is going to start to rally again, or at least come back to tackle this line, right? And then next up, we already know about this one. But yeah, right now it looks like we're trying to come back into the support down here. So we might fill this, we might not. We might just go sideways from here and then break it. But that's what I see right now. As soon as we break the major resistance here and here, that's when you'll see XRP start to do these crazy moves like that. How high we go, I don't know. I got one more line for you up here. And then obviously we got the double top up here. So maybe we get closer to that. I don't know yet. We're a little ahead of ourselves. But let's zoom through Stellar. What's going on with you, Stellar? Let's see. What do I see here? Just a lot of clone trend lines. Well, we broke above the resistance, so I see that. That could be support now. So now we have some nice support here at 32 cents. And you could argue that we're holding this mid-trend line now, so that's good. And being above this is good. So yeah, we should see us come to play with the highs here, which we have already tried to do so this week. And if this week can close above 38 cents, then we're going to look to come tackle this trend line where it was all this previous support, resistance, support, and then it acted as a little bit of resistance here. So we might come to play with some resistance up here at about 50 cents, which is also horizontal resistance, and then 50 cents psychologically, nice round even number. So after this trend line though, then the major resistance is just still up here at 70 cents, which is the weekly closes over here, and then obviously the weekly resistance right there. So that's what we see right now for Stellar. Taking a look at Cardano. Cardano has really actually just gone sideways since we talked. Like literally, we talked about it. We said if we lost this support, that we'd roll over and test this support. but it looks like it doesn't care, and it's just going to hold critical resistance slash support, whatever you want to call it, because I guess you can move it. I mean, technically that's underneath resistance, but you could also just call it support because it's, if you know it, move it down to here. This was resistance over here, and it's kind of acting as support. These are the wicks. It depends how you want to chart it and use it, but yeah, I mean that's just what I see. These wicks are respecting the hell out of $1.92, and all these closes are at $2. So we like $2 apparently right now for Cardano. A break above $2 again, or whatever you want to call it, this $2 and some change, 30 cents. Yeah, we need to close above basically this weekly close right here, because all these weeks have been lower. So a break above this weekly close, and you know, a weekly close above this essentially is going to lead us to come play with this trend line again, and or at least come play for that all-time high. And then all-time high and beyond is pretty much thin air. Don't have price targets for you, like I said, just going to be pretty exciting. Litecoin, biggest sleeping giant right now besides XRP, because again has not made new all-time highs yet. In fact, it's actually had a double top in play. So we have a double top right now for Litecoin. However, connecting this high, connect that high, that's the one downtrend in play, right? And remove that. Now that we fell into the support a couple times down here, you can see price is pinching in between here and here. So by this period, we either are going to lose the support and roll over again for those lows, or we're going to bounce out of here, come play with the resistance at 230. But if we clips 230, we're headed right back up to the all-time high, like easily. So this one will move very fast if we take out that one. So yeah, and then obviously if we break above that, then we're back in price discovery. So that could also get pretty crazy pretty fast. So we don't want to sleep on that. What's Quant doing today? Let's go to the daily. Boom, boom. Oh yeah, we do gotta be. There we go. Cool. Quant is doing pretty much exactly as we talked about, right? So we got a nice downtrend in play, at least from this moment. And you can see that the downtrend has been broken above because we back tested it as resistance. Sorry, back tested the resistance as support over here. And I mean, we're kind of just back in this channel, right? We stayed in this channel for a little while, zigzagging. We're back in it now. So if we just like move these out a little more like that, it's kind of hard to do it on log because I feel like they pinch or just they don't work that nice for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, we're either gonna stay right here for a little bit more longer, or come back for a retest of this trend line again. But honestly, as soon as we eclipse these highs up at $315, then we're gonna come play with that all-time high of 428. And after 428, same thing, thin air, price discovery on these things. It's hard to tell you where they're going, but they're going. And how's Algo doing? I added this one because I forgot to talk about a lot of these. There was a couple I was missing that I actually do hold that I wasn't talking about for time and time on here. But I got them all on here. Algo, boom, that's why it didn't look good. This downtrend's in play. A break above this line, which we'll edit it a little better now. Boom, right there. And I'm cool with it like right here. I think that's cool. So got some resistance and all this resistance in here. We're zooming off the resistance right now, right? So we should roll over and we're gonna hold and play with this area for sure. Or maybe we take out this low and we come play with the lows down here. But we'll see what happens because we have some higher lows in play right now, it looks like. So if we hold this higher low structure and we break above this, right? We don't necessarily need that confirmation, but if we break above this line, we're going to come play with the previous resistance all the way over here. It was support, resistance, resistance. So this could act as resistance again, or same thing, we break through it, maybe we backtest it or not, and then yeah, we're going to play with that previous all-time high up there. What else we got? Telcoin, yes. This one I am on log, okay. Telcoin, same thing. Actually, not really same thing. We actually did break the downtrend on this one, so we have resistance, and then all this resistance, and it broke above, actually over here on October 13th. So this one's ahead of schedule, and we ran right back into the red, right? So the red right here, critical resistance here, all here in support. So pretty obvious one. It looks like we're going to try to tackle that high then, and that's what we're battling to. It looks like since we did get rejected here, we might come in for the retest, but after this breaks, we're going to come play with that high for sure up here at almost 4 cents. And then after 4 cents, you already know all-time high and beyond. How's Tron doing? Tron's pretty simple. It doesn't really move, really. Weird. Just got the one healthy uptrend line. that we've been following forever, and we've been chilling in here forever, just like we talked about as soon as we broke this, that we said we'd probably be here for a little while, and it's been a little while. It's been since May. So we're still underneath the resistance here at about 10 cents or so. If we could take out that high again, like that 12 cents, it's likely that we're going to hold the support then above this 10-cent range, and then we're going to come play with that previous, is that all-time high? Yeah, the weekly closes, right? So the weekly closes on the altcoin markets seem to be pretty strong for their highs. If we could take that out, that was noteworthy for XRP. I think it was 279 we were talking about, or 269, whatever. But nonetheless, if we take out that high of 19 cents, it's price discovery mode pretty much after that wick up there, which might not really do a whole lot for resistance, but that's what we see here. And how's Holochain? Yeah, we charted on log. Okay. Yeah, Holochain broke out of the biggest bull flag on the planet that we talked about. It even did get a back test for support. Now that we have broken out of here, I don't really want to focus on that right now. Now I want to focus on these highs. Boom. So now the next line of repair, if you're looking for an entry on hot, you're going to wait for the breakout of this trend line where we had resistance and resistance. You want to wait to enter above that. Buying down here is fine too. If you're long-term believer, that's cool. But you know what I mean. By waiting for the waters to clear, so to speak, you want to wait for the confirmation above this trend line, which if it's happening in recent time, it's most likely going to be when it breaks above this 0.009 or 1 penny region. If we go above a penny, it's looking pretty good. More likely, or more safely, technically, you want to see if we can take out this 0.012 level, because that was the recent swing high in place. If we go above that, we're most likely going to come play with that previous resistance up here, which probably looks better on the daily. That's probably why it's there. Yes, support, resistance. Yeah, it's acting as resistance right now, but that was previous support. So technically this should be red right now. So I'll go ahead and do that for you. Boom. So once we break above that, things are nice and clear again. As long as we're under here, the trend is technically in your friend till the end, right? So we should be trending downwards with this line because the line is pointed down. So that's what we're looking at there. We got Uniswap. Uniswap is, do I do this on log too? No, I don't. Cool. And this one's a little sloppy, but that's because it moves pretty crazy. The altcoins, they move violent. So this guy, we got a high in place. All these lower highs, this might be the breakout. It's hard to place this one, I'm not gonna lie. So if we move it out to this, then maybe not necessarily a breakout. I think I like that better actually. We got resistance, we got that resistance, and we're into that resistance right now. And this line's not perfect either, but that works for me for now. So I'll go ahead and give it a green for you guys. So right now that's some support at 25 cents, $25. Sorry, so $25 is critical support, and I mean, we're right there right now, so we're going to get rejected here and roll over, or we're going to break above it and play with the next resistance up here at $33, which was all this resistance, and then act as some support here. Maybe the resistance should be moved down to here, because you can see, I guess this was resistance, and support resistance flips, all this recent resistance. So I'll leave it here. We'll go for $30. I think that looks a little better. But after $30, then I don't really think it's that much to worry about up here. But I guess the all-time high of $44, and maybe it stops somewhere in between. But realistically, just focusing on it down here, this is going to help you a ton. You want to get in early, so wait for the breakout here, enter, hang on to it, sell it on exit, wherever you want, blah, blah, blah. Maybe your goal is to accumulate more Bitcoin like me, so I just hold these altcoins really just to get more Bitcoin, minus XRP. That's the never sell strategy. And Ethereum, I do want more Ethereum too. But really, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum are the three that matter the most for me. All the other altcoins I just hang on to for fun, just to try to get more Bitcoin at the end of the day, because they appreciate more against Bitcoin, because the return on investment is larger since they're smaller market caps. But wow, we've been talking for 40 minutes. Wow, this is my longest video. I've been talking for you guys for a while. That was fun. Let me know how you guys like this styled video. I really thought about it for a while, and I still think about it for a while on how I want to style these for you, because I'm just trying to help everybody out, and it helps myself out. It's a good way to document my experience through this whole thing, because we're all going through this together, you know? So, yeah, I mean, if you have questions, let me know down below. If you guys have a different thing you want me to cover for fun every once in a while, like I'd rather not do Doge and Shiba and all that kind of crap, but like I could do it if you want. I mean, you can make money on crap, right? So we could do that. I would just not invest in crap, but making money on it is another thing. So making money is fun, right? So we could talk about those things if you really desire. If you have questions about maybe stocks or something, I could throw in a stock in there and throw on some TA if you need. Because I mean, I do have them on here. I just don't really care because I don't invest in them. I'm just focused on the most important trade that matters, and that's Bitcoin for me right here. Um, what else do we want to talk about? I don't know. We're going into the winter season, so you guys already kind of know what to expect from last time, but the car content might be a little less. I'm gonna do my best to roll something out for you. I don't like to upload videos just to upload them. I want them to be entertaining. I want to watch them myself, you know. So I'm not here to just make filler content. I care about what's putting out there. Um, so as far as upgrades for the channels go, like I want to get a webcam for you guys for this stuff because I would love to do random other videos. Like I'm a CS:GO fan, so like unboxings, maybe some like highlights here and there, whatever games I'm playing. And for the YouTube side of things, for like for the car stuff, like you know, better cameras and whatnot. Um, we're almost at 1,000 on YouTube right now, so thanks guys, because we're gonna do $100 of Bitcoin given away. So if you guys want to enter that, follow me on Instagram. And all my social media is in the description below, actually, because we're going to be talking about that and how to enter, because we're coming up on that pretty soon, honestly, probably by the next couple crypto videos I make. Um, we'll be there. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you guys for all the support. It's been quite the journey to get here. But yeah, I've been rambling a lot this video, so I'm gonna have to let you guys go, and we're gonna catch up next time. Uh, Thank you. Take it easy and have a wonderful, prosperous day.